What's up, y'all? Boxing Mind TV. You seen the title? Let's get to it. Errol Spence versus Crawford. Is it worth it right now? That's the question that people want to say or want to ask. Is that fight worth it? You know, as fans, we want to see the fight. We want to see it right now. We want to see the best versus the best. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, no matter how we cut it or slice it, business is always going to be part of boxing. That's always business first, and then the fight. You know what I'm saying? Gotta make business sense. And thinking about the fight, I mean, I feel like it'll be a big fight. It will be a big fight, of course, but are these guys going to bring in a lot of money? You know what I'm saying? Or is the split that each guy wants is worth it? You know, are they able to get that type of money? You know, so I know Errol Spence, he wants the bigger share of the pie. Terence Crawford wants a 50-50 split, and he believes he deserves that. But when you look at the numbers, you know, I understand why Errol Spence says it can't be a 50-50 whenever we do a pay-per-view, I'm making double than what you doing. You barely cracking 100,000, and I'm getting almost to 400,000 of pay-per-view buys when I do pay-per-view, and that doesn't warrant a 50-50 split, and I understand that. So, and then for the networks to come together and give them a certain amount of money, I don't know what type of money they want, but they're saying it's a lot of money each guys want. If they can't guarantee that type of money, the fight can't be made. You know, I just boil it down to like this. It's like you have to boil down to blame the fighters, the networks, and the promoters for not promoting their best fighter the way they should. You know, making them household names and exposing them to the masses. You know what I'm saying? Putting the money behind them as much as they can to make them household names and have people know them. Like, they great fighters. Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter. Errol Spence is a good fighter. You know, he's getting more exposure or getting more notoriety than Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? People, hardcore fans, we know Terence Crawford, but when it comes to getting pay-per-view buys, he doesn't get as much as Errol Spence. It's not even close. You know what I'm saying? So to say that you want a 50-50 split, it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Even if you are ranked, you know, number one in the pound for pound rankings or top two, you know, it doesn't make sense business wise, and I understand that. You know, it's not. I don't have the same frustration with the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight like I did with the Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather fight, because those two was already two established names, two established household names, and for that fight to be prolonged for so long, it was very frustrating because everybody wanted to see it. Everybody knew about them too. It was no reason why the fight couldn't be made in a way. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, oh, it doesn't make business sense. You know, it wasn't none of that. So these guys are not up to that level yet. They're not there yet. They're not even close to that level. They're not established fighters. They don't have established legacies yet, like Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather had. It's not there yet. So they just don't have that. So, but for Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, they have time to keep building. Like Terence Crawford needs to fight some other fight. He should fight Sean Porter, you know, to increase the attention on having that fight made up. You know, the Errol Spence fights, you know, to build that fight up and to get people to talk about it even more, to want that fight. And then the fight will get there, you know what I'm saying? And his pay-per-view buys could get bigger if he fights somebody that everybody else knows, you know, that wants to see him fight. Especially if he fights Sean Porter, that's gonna create a buzz. That's gonna create, you know, numbers probably comparable to Errol Spence pay-per-view buys, and that would make it more appealing, you know, to the fans, to the networks, and everything, to the promoters. So it's not, you know, it's all. It's it's the networks, the promoters, and the fighters is all to blame for the fight not making it happen. They have to market themselves, help market themselves to a whole nother level to get their name out there. You know, the pay-per-view buys. You know what I'm saying? You have to brand yourself to, you know, bring yourself to the masses. You know, so if they're not doing that and they're not getting exposed, they're not getting the numbers, they all are to blame. You know what I'm saying? They got give them the backing, the money behind them to get them to where they want them to be, so fights like this can be made easily. You know, it won't be that hard to make. But I understand why the fight is not being made in a way. I understand. I want the fight to be made as a fan, of course, but I understand why it's not being made. You know, Derek James came out and said, you know, they have to make sense for both of the networks. And Terence Crawford got mad about that and said, you know, Derek James is protecting his fighter, basically. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's necessarily true. It's just, it makes sense, you know, business sense. You know, it have to make sense for both of the networks. You know what I'm saying? And both of the fighters they're not really talkative like that. They're not really like charismatic like that. So like a Tyson Fury, or, you know, have knockout power that's, you know, like a Deontay Wilder or something like that, that's appealing to the fans right off the back, you know, or that has 10 title defenses, or like, you know, some crazy stuff, like, you know. But Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, they were heavyweights, and Tyson Fury is from a whole different country. That brings numbers, you know what I'm saying? UK versus US, that rivalry, all that is appealing. So it's kind of different when both of y'all is from the US. It's kind of like Amir Khan and Kell Brook. You know, yeah, both of y'all from, you know, the same country, but the fight's still not being made. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what y'all think, man. Do you think this fight is worth it right now, or do you think it's best that we wait on it? You know what I'm saying? They have to do more to make the fight more appealing. Terence Crawford had to do more, fight somebody that we know, get his pay-per-view numbers up, because I think Bob Evans doesn't want to put on pay-per-view no more. We're waiting on Errol Spence to carry them to a pay-per-view event. So a successful pay-per-view event. So, you know, if he waits on that, you may not never get the Errol Spence fight until maybe Terence Crawford contract is up. Maybe you go to PPC or something. But till then, like, I'm not really tripping about the fight not being made. You know what I'm saying? It's what it is. Terence Crawford should fight Sean Porter, but they say they friends, and I feel like shit. You gotta put that to the side. You know what I'm saying? And fight your friend if it's gonna make your career a little better. But you don't want to do it, so that's his choice. Hopefully, he can find another good fighter. You know, Bob Evans talking about him fighting Kell Brook possibly, or Pacquiao. If he fight Pacquiao, it'd be great for him to fight Pacquiao. That would really make it the fight more appealing now, because I'm pretty sure Pacquiao is gonna bring a lot of numbers in. Bring in a successful pay-per-view that would give a lot of exposure to the fight, and possibly bring up the Errol Spence fight. You know, make that fight next, so they'll both have 2 belts at that time. So it'll be great, but we have to see. What happens. And let me know what y'all think, man. Boxing Mind TV. Let me know if y'all think the fight is worth it. If it's not worth it, it can be. We can stall a little. It can be delayed a little bit. We can wait for the fight. But y'all let me know. Boxing Mind TV. I'm out.